Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to use several color correcting techniques in Hitfilm right after the intro. So here I am in Hitfilm, and you can see that I have a nice piece of stock footage here, and we're going to color correct this so that later you can apply some color grades to make your footage look really nice. So here we have our footage in a composite shot, and I'll create a new grade layer by pressing the new layer button and then select grade, or you can press Ctrl-Alt-G, that also works, and this opens a new grade layer. So we'll call this color correction because that's what it is. And what a grade layer does is all of the effects that you add to the grade layer will be applied to all of the layers below it. So it's an easy way of affecting multiple layers instead of having to add all kinds of effects to separate layers. So that's a really nice thing in Hitfilm. Now here, this is the color correction tab. The color correction tab here in the effects panel, and it has quite some effects in here, and I'll go over those. Now, auto color analyzes your clip and adds color to it. Then the auto contrast actually does a really nice job of taking out the flat gray tones and boosting up some of those blacks and whites, which is really good. Then we have auto levels, which again does things with color. Then with the brightness and contrast effect, you can adjust the brightness or contrast, exactly what the name suggests. Then with color balance, you can change it from cool and warm, or cool shadows with warm highlights, so you can create some really nice effects with this. And this actually looks like a sort of special filter thing, which is really nice. I like the cool shadows with warm highlights. Then we have color temperature, which works with degrees Kelvin. So if you take a smaller number, your footage will look warmer, and if you take a higher number, it will look more blue, so it will look cooler. And you can actually take this effect, maybe like a subtle thing, and change the tone of the footage. Then crush blacks and whites. This is actually a really important feature, because you can take the dark tones and boost them up a little, and take the white tones and also bring those back. Only here everything is set correctly with the white tones, otherwise your footage will have clipping over it. But you can see if we take the black tones, it does almost the same as with the auto contrast feature. Curves is also really handy. Now you can't change anything here in like the composite shot itself, but if we go to the controls panel, this is again the layer that you selected, and here you have the curves. So we can actually add a point, and you can actually do quite nice things with the color. So you can boost certain tones. So you can do this with RGB or with red, green, blue, and alpha, so you can be really precise. And with the curves, you can you have more control over the highlights and dark tones of your footage. So we'll delete this here. Then with gamma, we can change some of the visibilities of the color. So if we boost the gamma here, take this down, take this down, you can see that we have the red layer, and you can do this with green as well, or with blue if you need to split certain colors. Now hotspots is actually only preserves the hotspot areas of your footage, so that's a handy thing which you can use. Then hue, saturation, and lightness. If we go into the master settings here, you can shift the hue if you want to. You can change the saturation, boost it up or boost it down if you want to. And lightness, you can go from completely black to completely white, and everything in between here, to master the colors and lightness of your footage. Then we have levels histogram, which again, it's kind of hard to see here, but if we go into the controls, you can see this here. We can take the white and boost that up, or we can take out the blacks and move the gray slider in between. So this is actually something which you can use. Maybe if we pull the gamma down here, you can create some really nice effects with the level histogram. And then the white balance effect. Now if we go here, you can actually change the color of your footage. Maybe if you set the white balance wrong, you can adjust this later. So now that we know what all of these mean, we'll go over this here, and we'll start off with brightness and contrast. Now the brightness, it can be pulled a little bit down, not too much though, and of course we can pull up the contrast. Now as you can see, it takes out some of these flat gray tones, which you can see here, sort of the water vape. Here it doesn't look too great. It looks like it's been shot on log, but if we add the brightness and contrast effect, you can see that it takes out those dark rich greens of the bushes. Then we can take the color temperature here and boost it a little more towards warm tones. So I still want that nice gray here, but as you can see, it takes out these very cold blue tones of the water and makes them a little more orange, which is nice. Then we'll take the crush blacks and whites effect here. Now the whites, again, if you do this too much, it will start clipping, which is not good. But if we are really careful, we can do a little bit of this to bring out those shadows in the bushes here. So as you can see, it does a good job there. And then we can use saturation and lightness here, so we can boost up the saturation a bit, not too much though, otherwise the skin tone will start having some issues. So this is good. And again, it's all about taking those colors. Now it's really subtle over here, but as you can see, it boosts these green colors there. So I'm actually really happy with this grade, and with the big projects that I always work on, so the short films and maybe some other videos, I will always add like a cinematic letterbox effect, which is 2.35 by 1. And we can add that on here. Now again, the great thing of adding a letterbox in a separate grade layer is that I can take the footage and move this around without affecting all of the grades which are in the grade layer. So now I can actually adjust this footage, move it a little bit up, and see what we created. And it's also really nice because we can turn off this grade layer with one click. So we have this grade here, we can turn this off to see the original, and as you can see, I'm actually really happy with this. You can see this is the original. It has really flat colors. I think it's shot in log. And then we take this here, which massively boosts your production value. So I hope you liked this video on color grading in Hitfilm. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to leave a comment if you want to, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Bye! Hey, I hope you liked that video. Now click the top box to see my newest video and click the box below to see a highlighted one. Click my profile picture to subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you'll have a great day.